my last Monday at home with Landon.
Mm-hmm.
My last Monday to record.
End of an era.
Lots of lasts today.
Bitter, bittersweet.
Yeah. Yeah, Marissa asked if, are you going to be, sad that he's, that you're not with him, every Monday anymore? I'm like, yes and no. I love our days together, but at the same time, it'll be nicer to have, Saturday and Sunday with the whole family and,
Are you talking about your son or me?
Oh, well. I'm talking about my son, but Marissa was probably talking about both of us, if we're being honest. Oh, boy.
Merry Christmas, boys and girls, and welcome to the Sanctum Sanctorum Podcast, where comics and Christ culture collide. I'm Joey.
And I am Chris, and a Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday and all of the things that you may celebrate.
Kicking off the season right with a brand new episode, and we're excited that you're with us.
We are very excited. Around this time of year, we like to do movies that take place around Christmas time and the holiday time, and they are limited, but we got one.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
There's really not a lot. There's only 3 main ones, and then there's a couple of, TV episodes and specials that you can throw in there, but there's really not a lot of superhero Christmas movies. And we did 2 of them. We did 2 of them last year.
We did, and we argued as to whether or not they were Christmas movies. That's the thing. It's like, well, if there's snow, is it a Christmas movie? And okay. I'm not going to bring up that whole argument. No, that was last year's. Go check out the Shazam episode. We're not getting into that today. Not today. Today, as you can see from the title, we are covering Marvel's Iron Man 3, and I'm excited for it. It was a watch. It was certainly a watch.
It was something.
It was something. But before we dive into that, I got a comic culture moment for you, Chris. It's sort of a present that you can unwrap a little bit.
Yay.
Entrances in comic book films.
Mm-hmm.
They are the statement of the characters. They can make or break the movie for how the character first enters into our cinematic experience.
It's enough so that in the first, and I think the first and third Deadpool movies, he even references, superhero landings, superhero entrance. That's how you make a superhero entrance.
You're gonna do superhero landing. Wait for it. Woo! Superhero landing. Yeah, that's really hard on your knees.
Exactly. They're self-aware to know that it's a thing, which is great.
Well, it goes back as far as in our last episode, we did Batman Forever. And, when Batman comes into the party that Two-Face has brought all his goons into, he's like, your entrance was good, his was better. So everybody knows that a good superhero, supervillain entrance can make or break a moment.
Perfect. That said, give me your top 4 superhero entrances and a short little sentence as to why.
My top 4. Do they need to be in ascending or descending order, or just the 4 I like the best?
Yeah, go from 4, 3, 2, and you're 1.
Least favorite to most favorite. Okay.
That's right.
We're going to go with Wonder Woman in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice.
That one?
I'm assuming that the guitar riff is in this spot right here?
No, my guitar riff.
Oh, your mouth guitar riff? Oh, that's unfortunate. For me,
present.
That was an introduction to the character. It was an introduction to her, to her theme music, She looked great. She looked really cool. She, was a unification of the Trinity. And it was just, I thought it was awesome. She jumps in there with the shield and blocks the laser blast from Doomsday. So that was pretty cool. I really liked that a lot.
I'll give you that.
Number 3, Spider-Man in Captain America Civil War.
All right, I ran out of patience.
On the ruse!
Nice job, kid.
He spiderwebs Captain America's shield, lands in an epic pose on the top of that truck, holding the shield. Great introduction to MCU Spider-Man. Great introduction
Agreed.
of him finally merging with other heroes in the Marvel Universe, which had not been done before yet. And so that was an awesome, awesome entrance. Man, I struggle because the other two are a little more subtle, and I struggle which one is number 1 for me. Nah, okay. So number 2 is going to be Captain America, or really Steve Rogers, in the Avengers Infinity War. He looks awesome. He catches it with such ease, and he walks in, and you're just like, yeah, things are about to go down.
okay.
They're about to get heavy right now.
Cap is here.
So that's good stuff. All right, and number 1, drum roll
What do you got?
please. The Joker in The Dark Knight.
And I thought my jokes were bad.
Like that, man, what an introduction.
Yep.
The first time you saw the Joker on screen like that was Jack Nicholson's, and it was very theatrical when he did it. And it was great. But this one is just like, you can feel the sinister nature of Heath Ledger's Joker in that scene.
It really crawls in.
He really does. There's it's not a big blast in. It's just he kind of wanders in and takes control of the room. And it's phenomenal acting. It's well shot. It's well written. Even the gangsters, other than one guy who kind of freaks out, don't even know what to do with, like, who is this guy that's just dressed like a crazy person, is super ballsy, walking in here? Like, what an entrance when people were so ready to not like his version of the Joker, because it was like, Heath Ledger's like a heartthrob actor. He's not going to be the Joker. And what a way to be like, wrong-o.
Career
Look at what I did.
and character defining.
Absolutely. So that would be mine. Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, Captain America, the Joker.
I love that. You know why? Because I don't have any of those. I've got 4 completely different ones. All right, in descending order, or ascending order, rather.
Yes, start with number 4.
Also Batman versus Superman, when Superman shows up.
Take one step. You will see the inside of her head.
I love that entrance, because every
good.
other entrance for Superman is like, yay, justice, hope, American way, freedom, haha. Not like, oh God.
Yeah, this is more.
That's one of the best ones.
This is a little more revengey Superman in that one.
Absolutely.
It's like, you are trying to hurt my lady, and
if you remember, 3 seconds later, he takes care of that threat.
oh yeah,
Very, very definitively. So that's my number 4. Number 3, when the Goblin shows up in No Way Home.
Osborn?
Because we know who that is and we know what that means, but we're living it through Peter's confusion. He doesn't even have a goblin in the MCU.
Right.
So that's a cool moment of, hey, this is the movie that kind of started it all. I know it's not the very first one, but the one that kind of kicked off, this is what superhero movies could be. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I understood that reference.
Understand?
I do.
I understood that reference.
So that's a great entrance.
I have to say that I think I like the entrance he makes as in the new version when he's got the purple hood and just the goggles when he loses the mask. I think I like that entrance better, but that definitely is a good one. It definitely stirs up some of those feelings.
Sure. Gotta give the devil his due. On number 2, Batman Begins.
I'm Batman.
Like, that's the first time you see him. In fact, that scene is so masterfully shot, and we talked about that in episode 20, how the misdirection and the lack of seeing him actually plays through the eyes of the goons, and, like, you have not seen Batman yet, but then once he says Batman, that's when you see him for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's good.
And you're going to probably give me pushback on this one, but my number 1, drum roll please. When Thor shows up in Wakanda. I'm sorry. We've seen him already in the movie, but he shows up as Thor with Stormbreaker. It is the entrance of a new character.
I mean, at this point,
greatest
we've seen
superhero entrance ever.
We've seen him in 6 movies at this point. We've seen him do the lightning, and this isn't even the first time he shows up in the movie, because he's already been in, like, most of the movie already. It's just the first time he's come to Earth in this one.
I have 2 complaints with it, though. It is by far one of my favorite scenes in all the MCU.
Bring me Thanos!
No, I don't even mind about that. I mind that he has both eyes. I thought he looked great with the eye patch.
Yeah, the eye patch is cool. They should have kept it. Never should have got rid of it.
I hated that they gave him the eye back. And 2, they should not have played the Avengers theme when he shows up. They should have played Immigrant Song.
Yes.
And there's an edit of that online of, like, people swapping it out. It looks so much better. But that's my 4.
You know what would have made all these entrances better?
What?
It's like, you know what that reminds me of?
think-
Did you ever see those videos of ending every movie with Born to Run by
Yes.
Springsteen? Yes. It's like that. Now, I watched a bunch of those, and a lot of them are like romantic movies or horror movies, but almost you start watching it and you're like, this is never going to work. And then when it starts, it's like,
Right.
Actually, it isn't too bad. That kind of works.
But what do you guys think? Did we miss any top superhero entrances, whether it's a villain, whether it's a superhero? Drop us a comment on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Let us know your favorite comic book entrance and whether or not we missed one.
Yes, and which one of us has the better list? That's what I want to know. Even if you don't agree with it, which one has the better list?
Definitely you.
I mean, probably.
It's definitely you, because I'm being magnanimous.
Oh, is it because of the holiday season?
Mm-hmm. But
how wonderful of you.
I've got quite the synopsis for you on this film.
I am ready for a synopsis right now.
Cue the holiday music. Here we go. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and Tony can't sleep, with panic attacks rising and PTSD. The Mandarins' bombing made fear start to grow, so Tony said, "Here's my address, go." And wouldn't you know it, the missiles took flight. His mansion exploded in broad festive light. With Jarvis half broken, he crashed far from home in a small town playing detective alone. With bad guys and monsters, Pepper got captured, and Tony gets scrappy, the logic gets raptured. Will Tony still be able to save the day as armors blow up in a festive display? Then Tony figures out what we knew to be true, saying, "I'm still Iron Man, even without the suit." So join as we dive in with pain and with glee to 2013's Iron Man 3. Dun, dun, dun!
That is easily, I think that might be my new favorite.
It's a gift.
That is the rhyming, the little "'twas the night before Christmas" there. Amazing.
I didn't even tell you I was doing it.
Amazing job. That was great.
I sat on that one and I was like, I want to tell him so bad. And then I did.
You know, as the rhymings were happening, I thought to myself, okay, this is like a cute idea, but I feel like some of the rhymes are going to get a little like, oh, no, you were reaching hard for that one. But they were all really, really good. Really spot on.
Dead on. Dead on. Who's in this movie, Chris?
Well, this movie stars many of the people from previous entries of the MCU, like Robert Downey Jr., Gwyneth Paltrow, Don Cheadle. But new cast members would include Ben Kingsley, Guy Pearce, and Rebecca Hall, and was directed by Shane Black, most notably known for creating the Lethal Weapon movies. So,
indeed. So, I told you the number for this film for me is 5. I have 5 good things. I have 5 categories of bad things.
All right.
I say we do good first.
Considering that's what we usually do, I think that's probably the way to go. Why change it now?
Let's stay on brand.
The holidays mean good. Let's do good.
Yeah. Holiday mean good. All right.
I don't have a lot of it, but
here good stuff. The PTSD anxiety angle is a great story vehicle.
Yes.
We'll get to how I feel about it, but as a whole, as a story mechanism, excellent. Nobody's really touched it since. Thunderbolts definitely has it, but right out the gate after Avengers to go in that direction, I thought was really creative. The supporting cast, phenomenal. RDJ is RDJ, and he's always going to be, but I think Guy Pearce is a great actor. I think he was given a weird character, but what he shows up to was pretty good. I think Ben Kingsley is a master, particularly in this role. And Happy Hogan. I mean, Jon Favreau is always a delight. And so the supporting cast of this was actually really, really good. 41 minutes into the movie, I did not expect to get emotional, but Jarvis leaving is very emotional. And I thought, this character that they don't know what to do with, which eventually would become Vision, just the breaking up of the static, given the anxiety and feeling alone, now to have even your closest companion disappear, I thought was really, really well played. And I really liked that moment. 2 other things. There is a 1-minute scene right before the house gets destroyed. Rebecca Hall's character is there, and Pepper and Tony are arguing. And I actually rewound it 3 times. The fight that they're having is masterfully acted because Tony is angry about everything else in his life, and he's taking it out on Pepper. And you'd think, well, that's a really, that's a nothing thing. That's actually really hard to do, to play internal issues being manifested not on the object of what your frustration is. That's a multi-layered, difficult acting choice. And he nails it. He nails it so well. And you can tell, it's not Pepper. Pepper's not the issue here. It's everything else that he's hiding, he's not diving into. And yet he's acting this out really, really well. And the last thing, I like how the third act is basically Home Alone. It reminds us that Tony built this suit. Tony's smart. Tony knows how to, be scrappy with a box of scraps. It very much reminded me of how he built the first one, and the cave scene. So, he's just resourceful. I liked that they had that because Iron Man 2 doesn't have that, and Avengers definitely doesn't have that. Obviously, the theme of this whole thing is Tony still Iron Man even without the toys? And I thought that the third act really did that well.
All right.
That's it.
Well, I don't have much else. You covered some of the stuff that I had. I think along with the PTSD, I think that what they tried to do with Iron Man 3 that made it a little more interesting than the first two is that it was a character study of Tony, not of Iron Man, not of the Avengers. It was definitely a how is Tony the person dealing with all these things that have happened to him over the last, phase 1 of the MCU.
Yeah.
I think the original Mandarin idea is awesome. Ben Kingsley, when he's playing the Mandarin, when he's playing the character of the Mandarin, I think is a really great update to a pretty racially insensitive character
Yeah,
in
I'll give you
the
that.
comics. Even when the Mandarin first came out, it people weren't as sensitive to its insensitivity, but it was still a problem then. But now it's very hard to use, and I think it was a really unique and smart way to kind of update that character, especially since he's one of Iron Man's biggest foes. So I think that was a good way to do it.
It's got some issues, but they did it kind of how they could.
All I'm talking about is the clips of when you see the Mandarin, the glasses, the Mr. President, you haven't done what I've asked you, like all that stuff is to me, Ben Kingsley is like perfect at that stuff.
Totally. Totally.
Now, this is also going to be part of my bad, but I really like the look of Iron Patriot. I think the look is pretty cool. It's not correct, but we'll get into why.
No.
But I think the look is really cool. The plane rescue is a fun thing. I like Happy Hogan with the badge stuff in the beginning. It's just a fun little thing. I like that you got to see Yinsid again. That was a nice little like, yeah, I know that guy. I get that reference. And the only other thing I really liked, and it kind of goes into it kind of being a character study, was you really got to see his devotion to Happy. You always saw how Happy was always very emotional about Tony, and you kind of knew that Tony, relied on Happy and trusted him, and it was his friend and stuff. But after Happy gets injured in the explosion, and he has him leave on his favorite show, and references things of like, make sure everybody wears their badge. He's a stickler for that, and sits by his bed and all that. It's like, Tony doesn't have a whole lot of people in his life that he really loves, really cherishes, really are that important to him. And you can see in this one that Happy really is one of those people for him. And I thought that was done really well.
No, that's great.
And that is gonna be it.
I kind of have one other.
I got a couple of others.
I'll tell you what. You go first with your others, because mine's a really big one. And like I was going to say, I normally don't have any others. I'm kind of like either it's good or it's bad. But this one, I actually like. I don't know what to do with this, and we have to talk about it. But
okay.
You first.
I think it was fine to have that opening scene of New Year's Eve in 1999. It was just a reminder that Tony used to be a real D-bag.
Piece of work.
And, I guess it helped to have a reminder of that so you could see the development of Killian and you could see the development of Tony, but it was just kind of there. The empty, when he's having the conversation with Pepper using the empty suit, but he's working in the workshop, was just kind of giving me shades of that scene in Watchmen with Dr. Manhattan.
I was going to say the same thing. I'm like, this is Watchmen.
It's not a good or bad thing. But because this came after, I have to wonder if he watched that and like, oh, I like that idea that like, he never stops working, but he's still trying to be normal.
Absolutely. Particularly because we just watched it.
Yeah, definitely helped since we're watching them almost back to back. The last other I have is that Iron Man 3 essentially is just kind of meaningless in regards to the MCU as a whole. In regards to the character of Tony, it just feels like all the things that they open up in this movie with the PTSD, with the characterizations, with the destroying all the suits at the end, by Avengers 2, it's like none of that matters anymore.
Literally, the entire thing is undercut, and you knew he was going to be in Age of Ultron, so it's kind of like,
yeah. So it just felt like this served no purpose, even as a character study, because it doesn't carry over into his, future appearances in anything. So,
and if we're just going year by year by year, the timeline of Iron Man 3 to Avengers Age of Ultron, where he's got the suits and seemingly like it's not that big a deal, Then the next time he shows up is arguably Homecoming?
Age of Ultron is before Civil War, so Ultron is the next one he shows up in.
Right, so follow me here. You've got Iron Man 3, Age of Ultron, Civil War, Homecoming, and then in Infinity War, he's still trying to make this promise to Pepper of like, oh, I don't need the suit. It's just for protection. It's the ghosts in the closet. But like, you said movies ago that it wasn't an issue and that you were getting rid of them. So there's literally no reason to do this.
Was that your other?
No, I'm just passionate about it.
You're just carrying on. Okay.
Here's my other. There is an immaculate comic line of Iron Man from 1979. And what is it called, Chris? It's the definitive Iron Man story. What is
definitive Iron Man story. Well, there's a couple of them, but the one from 1979, I'm imagining that's the alcohol Tony, right?
Yeah, it's Demon in a Bottle.
Demon in a Bottle, right.
Okay, you win. So Tony becomes dependent on alcohol as a way to cope with stress and shame and insecurity and the crushing weight of being Iron Man. And he drinks himself into self-destruction. There's bad decisions, there's broken relationships, there's like this moral compromise. And he hits rock bottom professionally and personally. It is a fascinating comic. It is an amazingly written one. It's one where like his friends come around him. He admits he has a problem. He faces the demon and he begins recovery. And ultimately he recognizes that the main villain is Tony. It's powerful. And we never get it really. Movie 1, Iron Man 1, establishes him as a hero, and his demons are a subtext, but there's no crash. Iron Man 2 is the closest. The alcohol is replaced by the palladium poisoning. Mm-hmm. Like he's dying from the thing that he's depending on, and he's spiraling out. But then they pull the punch because Disney doesn't want to do that. Instead, Fury shows up with that cure, and so he never really hits rock bottom. He doesn't really face it. And then here in number 3, like the demon of PTSD is that coping behavior, and they tease it, but they never show him dealing with it. Like they show like, oh, he needs to heal, but they never show it because Disney won't do alcoholism, and they let him drink, but they don't let it matter.
Right.
And sadly, every film flirts with this amazing story, and they use it as metaphors and ways around it, but they are replacing something powerful. And I really wish they wouldn't.
100% agree.
And Rhodey should have died. It's
a major arc of his character. And I think that, that's an issue they have with a couple of characters, to be perfectly honest, is that these things that kind of make the core of these characters, they like touch on a little bit, but they don't make them as important as they should be because they don't want to like ruffle any feathers. So they don't want to touch alcoholism. They don't want to touch drug use. They don't want to touch religion. They don't want to touch, domestic abuse, which I understand. But at the same time, you're taking some of the backstory of these characters and some of the things that really made them compelling characters in the books and kind of diluting them by not including these, controversial parts of the character.
These demons.
But it's part of what makes the character. And like we as an audience can tell when you're like hinting at it, but not really pulling the trigger on it.
Especially if you know the character and you know the story. And so I highly recommend that 1979 Demon in a Bottle story. Go check it out if you haven't. You'll start to see all the little nods towards it, but the non-committal nature just kind of, it leaves me wanting more. And I know Robert Downey Jr. could probably pull that off, particularly because as a human being, the guy is Demon in a Bottle.
Mm-hmm.
So that said, we're going to take a break. We're going to hear an ad from our sponsor, and we'll be right back.
See you in a minute. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
To be a star of the stage, screen, and phony criminal enterprises, one needs to be trained in the art of acting. At the Slattery School of the Theatrical Arts, you will learn to hone your skills as a performer, scene partner, and unwitting terrorist. Our aim is for you to leave having a deeper understanding of your character, a sense of purpose, and the ability to make lots and lots of money. Where other schools of our caliber would normally ban vices such as drugs, alcohol, and fraternization, here at Slattery, we not only condone it, but encourage it. When it comes to techniques, our professionally trained instructors insist on method acting and full immersion within the character, even at the expense of war and human life. We want you to fully become the role that you seek. Apply now for Slattery School of Acting, where it's not Mandarin, it's man, you're in.
That's good. That's really good. And you know what? I'm feeling generous. I'm feeling in the holiday spirit.
Oh boy.
It's so good. You get a Hamill.
Whoa! Look at that.
That was great.
I was ready for some coal in my stocking.
No way. That was good.
Thank you.
I'd attend that.
I almost wish I could apply.
He's played so good. In a movie that's so bad.
Yeah. It's pretty, yeah.
How much bad do you have?
Like a paragraph's worth of stuff.
Well, you go first because you'll knock out some.
But
of
I
mine.
just write. You know, when I'm taking notes, I just kind of write down bullet points and then expound on them if needed.
Yeah, go ahead. You first. You'll probably cover mine because, like I said, 5 sections of bad stuff here. They're categories, but like there's a lot of bad stuff.
Well, since we just talked about it, and I kind of hinted to Joey that I had a running theme through my good, my bad, the ad, my spiritual, all that kind of stuff, and it's the Mandarin. So, in as much as I loved how Ben Kingsley played the Mandarin, like in the character within the character, I don't love that twist of him just being this, drug and sex addicted, out of work actor who is hired to be the face of this evil company. Like, it just ruined what I thought was so good. I was like, man, they're really making a good change here. And then you just kind of ruined it. And then, you have Killian saying, I'm the true Mandarin. But then you get to Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings. And no, I'm the true Mandarin. It's like, okay, do we really even have the Mandarin at this point? Everybody
Mandarin,
wants to be the Mandarin.
Up. You get to be the Mandarin. You get to be the Mandarin. And to that point,
Oprah's giving out Mandarins.
To that point, I think the movie struggles from this thing where it subverts you at every chance it gets.
Mm-hmm.
It is an hour of building a terrifying global terrorist, and then it says, nope, I'm Trevor. Aldrich is a way weaker presence, and he has none of the psychological or philosophical tension that the Mandarin built, and then that's just completely gone. It trades this meaningful character for a meta joke.
Yep.
And it drove me nuts because, like, Iron Man 1 is all about, Iron Man 1 and 2, it's about tech and legacy and accountability and ego. And then this one's like Christmas and PTSD and fake villains and fire monsters. It's like, why are you trying to, like, trick me? What are you trying to do? Just, I think that's why I walk away from, like, something's missing out of this movie, and I don't know what it is, but I think the entire time it's just like, yeah, we're going to pull the rug out from under you.
Yeah, I don't love that.
It bothered me.
I think it's it's too long. It's way longer than it needs to be for what it is. Don't love that Maya Hansen goes evil, the botanist. Like, that seems like such a huge shift for her to, like, just go bad guy. It's not a great follow-up to the Avengers. It gets wrapped up.
And to be fair, nothing was going to be.
No, save for another Avengers movie, nothing was going to be a good follow-up, but this was certainly the wrong direction, I think.
Well, let me take that back, actually, because just a movie later, we got... No, it wasn't a movie later. It was 2 movies later. But 2 movies later, you got Winter Soldier. Now, right after Avengers...
But that was a good follow-up to Captain America. I don't think anything was going to be... I think the closest good follow-up to the Avengers is either going to be the Avengers 2 or Civil War.
Yeah.
Because, again, Winter Soldier is a good movie, but it's really just about Captain America and Black Widow. Iron Man 3 is just about Iron Man. Ant-Man is just about Ant-Man. So when you take a big swing like the Avengers, anything short of another major team-up movie is going to fall short.
It will, but I don't think it's the team-up thing. I think you've got Avengers, which is a milestone and a line in the sand, but then you go back to character. You go back to the individual members of what made that team up a really good thing. And Iron Man 3 just doesn't hit it. Thor 2 just doesn't hit it, but Cap does. Why?
Okay.
It connects to where the character is after the team, and Iron Man doesn't do that very well, and Thor literally takes him off planet.
Mm-hmm.
So you lost a grounding with the character from the team up, and I think that's the issue.
Okay.
Because I was going to say, no, it doesn't really work. Well, actually, it does. You just have to do it right.
Right. It does. You just did it badly. I think that this is also too easily wrapped up.
Oh, yeah, this is a sitcom level ending.
It's a bad ending, Pepper, it's almost like the end of A Christmas Carol.
And Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all and infinitely more.
And, Tiny Tim?
Tiny Tim, who did not die.
Oh, isn't that swell?
And Pepper, who did not die, ended up getting healed from the extremis virus, and Tony ended up getting all the shrapnel taken out of his heart, and stupid.
That got me.
Speaking of Pepper, this is just I know that you
hater.
I know that you tried to do the I know that you tried to defend the fight that Pepper and Tony are having when Maya is in the room, like right before the house explodes. But this is just the fourth movie of Tony not understanding Pepper.
Yeah, why she still hangs around is just, there's no explanation.
I get you needed to establish that in Iron Man, maybe even in Iron Man 2, but at this point, you're still not, you still just don't get it. You're too self-absorbed to understand her. Why is she with you? Why are you bothering? Well, just go sleep with more models. Clearly she doesn't matter enough.
Right.
For you to even bother, I don't know, being a normal person.
Agreed.
And again, an example of that is that Pepper has moved in to live with him, and he just gave out his dress to a global terrorist that is threatening countries around the world, that has been, as far as everyone knows, has been, murdering people and taking out these other cells, all these various acts of terrorism. Here, just here's my address. You don't live there alone anymore, dude.
What's ridiculous is that he's then surprised that they show up. It's like you gave out the address. What'd you think they were going to do? You dunce.
And speaking of dealing with these global terrorists, either way, whether, when he thought the Mandarin was Ben Kingsley, when he found out the Mandarin was actually Killian. And again, this isn't really just a sin of this movie. This is a sin of a lot of the movies that are like this, and a lot of the TV shows that are like this. A lot of comic book TV shows. Mm-hmm. Why didn't he call the other Avengers? They weren't on the outs yet. They had just saved the world in a big team-up movie. Why didn't he call the Avengers and be like, listen, maybe if we all go at this terrorist guy at once, we can squash this so fast. Done and done. But I saw, I said this was my biggest complaint about the Arrowverse, is when it was man, I don't think we could defeat this villain. Call Supergirl and the Flash and the Legends and Black Lightning and Superman, and you can take care of this problem real quick.
And here's the other issue. From all accounts and purposes, who is the Mandarin targeting at first?
The president.
America. So who's the better superhero to deal with it?
Captain America.
Captain America.
And, Black Widow and Hawkeye, who are two, secret agents who have pledged to help and save America. Thor, who has adopted America as his home. Come on.
Can't be bothered. All right.
And I'm not blaming them for, but also, how do Cap and Hawkeye and Black Widow at least not know about this? Because he's all over the news. The Mandarin's all over the news. So why are they independently not being like, hey, maybe we should like all get together and like stop this guy? This seems pretty dangerous.
Because science.
It just annoys me. I don't like Tony Stark action hero.
What did he say?
Don't love it. It's stupid. I don't like that. What was the point of Mark 40? Here's the thing. What was the point of Mark 40, the Mark 42 suit and the implants, and being able to like call all those suits to himself when in the ending scene he already does that?
You know why?
Like, those other suits don't have the same text, but he's calling and jumping in and out of the suit, which I also hate, which I think is so stupid. The jumping in and out of the suits at will. So much wrong with that.
It's so that you can have the pretext for the Iron Legion in Age of Ultron.
Well, it's...
When you go back and you watch this forward, knowing now what's coming, you're kind of like... Oh, I can see how much work they were doing to set up the next Avengers movie.
Well, okay, yes, but also having that many suits is impractical. How did he possibly build all 42 suits? Like,
well, he doesn't sleep.
Regardless, that is impossible.
I know.
Impossible.
That's the reason they gave, but yeah, 40 suits in what? 3 weeks? I don't know.
It's time to stop! It's time to stop, okay? No more!
Especially because Pepper is like, what do you have, like 15 of them now? All right, 15, I'll give you 15. I could buy 15 maybe. But more than double that? Like, that's just dumb. Yeah, I don't like the end scene when all the suits come. And I know that they were trying to humanize Tony a little bit, and they were trying to create this, I don't know, Indiana Jones and Short Round kind of relationship here with Tony and Harley, but it was dumb. Didn't like it.
The kid doesn't work.
It was pointless. And I have to say, I don't like that this movie has Tony calling a little kid that particular word. It feels out of place.
It bothered me in the theater. It bothers me now. It bothered me every time I see it. It feels so out of place. It's wrong, and it's a cheap shot, and they should never have done it.
Because if he had said it to Killian or to Trevor, fine. Like, the word itself doesn't offend me, but its placement and intention here really kind of does, because it's jarring. It's jarring because of the kind of movie that this is. It's jarring because of who he says it to, and it's jarring because it feels like you just put it in to put it in. Like, there didn't seem to be any
totally wrong
purpose behind it. Like, if he had just said, like, well, I forget what the line is, but it was, if he had just said, like, well, don't be like that, don't be a wuss, the same message would have gotten across. And it would have been less like, why are you saying that to an 11-year-old, you weirdo?
Also, he never says that again. It's not like he's got a problem with crassness. It's like you went out of your way. Was that a Robert Downey Jr. special request to say that word?
I think it was
annoying.
Probably a Shane Black writing thing, and just nobody else had a problem with it.
Garbage.
But that's everything I have.
Okay, I'll go quick, or I'll go as quick as I can. All right, so tone, genre, and the kind of directorial mismatch, I think. Just a couple things. Detective Tony Stark does not work. I don't like it. It's a buddy cop vibe.
It's as bad as action hero Tony Stark.
Yeah, and it's basically, I think it's Lethal Weapon Malibu edition.
See, where you think it's Lethal Weapon Malibu edition, I feel like it's every Jason Statham movie Malibu edition.
It is, and now Shane Black is a great director. I love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. The Nice Guys is great. The Predator from 2018, it's awesome. He's a writer on Lethal Weapon, but I feel he was wrong for the first foray after the Avengers to wrap up the Tony arc. He's not the right director.
No, you're right.
It's trying to be too much. I hated the music, actually. I like that song Blue at the top, but it doesn't fit in this movie. I think the Jingle Bell...
it was only there to be like, hey, remember this song from 1999?
Yeah, it's like, I don't care. And
remember the 90s?
Okay, so I talked with you a little bit about this. This is a movie of firsts for a lot of things, and we have to kind of remember that. This is the first movie after the Avengers. This is the first character to get a third movie. And this is the first MCU movie that told us things but didn't show us things.
Isn't this also the first movie of Phase 1? Of Phase 2, rather?
Phase 2, yep. So it's the first time, I feel, if you're watching chronologically, it's the first time that Marvel didn't really develop a character. They just did a thing to do a thing.
Yeah.
And the way I see that most clearly is the talking to Bruce thing at the end, as though this entire movie was a dream. It just undercuts the entire thing. And I think the movie has this problem where it thinks it can do no wrong. It can say whatever it wants. It can throw whatever music it wants. It can do whatever it wants with a story. And they love us because we're the Avengers. We're the theater. We're the studio that gave you Avengers. You'll eat anything. And this is one of the first movies that's like, oh yeah, we're just going to do whatever we want. And I think the pushback, I mean, it made $1 billion, but that's because it skated off of Avengers. But you go back and you watch it and you're like, this ain't a good movie.
And I think that, having him be like, having Bruce as his therapist, I forgot about that part. But I think that goes with the problem that I had of like, so you call Bruce so that you can talk about this huge event you went through instead of calling him and being like, bro, I kind of need the Hulk to fight this global terrorist. Oh, never mind. The global terrorist is an actor. It's actually a superpowered terrorist. I definitely need the Hulk.
It's dumb. I don't think leaving a guy on a roof that you just met is enough to tip him over the edge to create desperation and turn into a supervillain. He's driven by money and success, but he hates Tony more. The motive is just not clear. It's dumb. Why once the house is attacked does he bail on Pepper, the person he cares most about in the world?
Because, again, this is another movie where Tony doesn't get it. Tony did not develop, like, he is still relationally immature and shows no development in that area whatsoever.
I am never going to not think of Pepper's cure now with Gonzo going,
Who did not die?
And Pepper Potts. Who did not die.
Not die? So she's super nuclear, but now we never bring that up again because, Tony focused on it? Like, think about this. Tony only wants to help fix that problem now that Pepper's affected by it.
Well, I even think...
You don't realize how incredibly shallow and self-centered that is?
I even think it's further than that. I don't think it's because Pepper is affected by it. I think it's because Pepper is now potentially and probably more powerful than he is. I think part of it is the jealousy
that's a dark
thing,
twist.
because there would have been no reason not to be like, you know what? Why don't we figure out how you can kind of hone this and make it work the way that Killian was making it work and be a new Avengers member. Like, you know that super team that I put together that we have? You could be on that, and you could be a serious threat.
That's dark. I like that. The core of the movie, like we've said, is I am Iron Man even without the suit, but it only shows him without the resources. It doesn't show him choosing that. And I think that's an important distinction. He's not choosing to rely on something deeper. He just doesn't have it. And I think that's the character development that we're missing. So it kind of makes the end be like, okay, I guess you're Iron Man. And also
the next time we see him, he has a new suit.
Right, literally has it and can't be without it because now it's still keeping you alive. It makes no sense. It also makes no sense why the suit doesn't work. That's never explained. Like, the whole thing is connected to the arc reactor, but now just like, hey, we're having some technical issues? That's not a thing. It also doesn't make sense why the attacks from the Mandarin are focused on America and then all of a sudden they shift to Tony. Like, one superhero guy gets on the television and goes, my address is right here because you attacked my butler. Like, the whole publicization, that's not a word.
Publication. Publication.
The whole publication, the whole way that everybody knows about this is because it's blasted out as a tax on America. One guy gets up there and says, hey, here's my address, and now it's directed at that guy? Why?
I think because inexplicably, Killian is focused on Tony. So when Tony is the one who steps up and is like, hey man, I'm not afraid of you, Mandarin, and here's my address, and you want some, come get some. That's when he's like, well, okay, he's the focus of my rage after all.
Yeah.
But also, doesn't everybody know Tony's address? Like, he's got a giant house in Malibu on the edge of a cliff. I mean, it's kind of hard to miss. Like, is he not on like one of those like map of the stars homes that you can get,
Yeah, and you're telling me the only security for a guy like that is Happy Hogan? Okay. Why are they shooting guns on Air Force One?
'Cause
don't do that. The Barrel of Monkeys is ridiculous.
Oh, I didn't.
First of all, they would not hear him.
Well, that's true. I mean, I guess you could say he could amplify his voice within the suit.
Electrifying their hands makes absolutely no sense.
No, but it was
probably
cool
kill them. And cool, you saved 13 people, but the freaking plane exploded.
And the president wasn't one of the 13 people.
Right, so there were only 13 people on the plane? I think not.
I retract my previous statement that I liked the plane scene.
Thank you. Even when you didn't see me do it, but when you said that, I gave one of the Jim from The Office looks to the camera like.
No, that's fair. I retract that. I think the visual is cool, but now that we actually fully talk about it, it's really not good. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, the house party protocol at the end. The finale is basically 20 empty suits rather than Tony himself, and quite frankly, that's a metaphor for the movie. It's the suit without the character.
All that makes it is Transformers.
Yeah. And I know, like I said, this is the pretext for the Iron Legion in Ultron, but that's literally all it's for. Tony does nothing at the end. He jumps around from crane to crane. And the ending is just blow up, blow up, blow up. And quite frankly, at every turn, he probably should have been dead, but he's invincible? He's only the invincible Iron Man with the suit.
Yep.
And you're telling me that he doesn't need it. But he actually needs 20 of them. It's like, what the heck?
Yep. All of the above.
That's it.
Beautiful. It was bad. But
I'm exhausted.
What did the Lord say to you through this dumpster fire?
And the Lord spake unto me, and he saith.
He saith unto you, thou shalt cut out your eyes before watching this again.
Did not die. Iron Man 3 actually nails something that I think most of us just don't want to admit. Tony is struggling alone. He is drowning in anxiety. He's drowning in PTSD. He's got fear. He's got insecurity. But instead of actually receiving help from the people that love him, he isolates himself. And so he builds more suits. He works more hours. He hides more pain. And he tries to handle things without actually being honest and vulnerable. And honestly, I get that. I think a lot of us get that. It is easier to fix something than it is to feel something. Mm-hmm. And, personally, I think it's easier for me to say I'm fine than to say I'm scared.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us do that spiritually. I think we look for rest everywhere, but the one place we've been invited to find it. So we chase after distraction, chase after achievement, chase after, more effort and more numbing and control. And we try all these things. And yet Jesus says something very profound, very powerful, and very simple in Matthew 11:28. And we can probably quote it. He says, come to me and I will give you rest. And he doesn't say earn it. He doesn't say build it. He doesn't say engineer it. He just says, come to me and I'll give you rest. And that's where that moment with Pepper actually hits a little bit differently. That very end scene where she's dangling and he's trying to reach out. And he says, I wrote it down. He says, I can't reach any further and you can't stay there. You got to let go. I'll catch you. I promise. And that is exactly the invitation of the gospel. Mm-hmm. That there's a point where all of us get to where Jesus kind of says, you can't stay where you are. You can't hold on to the ledge any longer. If you let go, if you come to me, I'll catch you. If you stop trying to do it yourself, if you stop trying to internalize it all, if you just come to me, I promise I'll catch you. And so that's kind of what jumped out to me. It hits personally because I notice a lot of that within myself. But the movie accidentally asks a really profound faith question, which is, what does it look like to really come to Jesus, to really release my fears, my anxieties, my control issues? What does it look like to really stop trying and start releasing?
Yeah, that's good.
Out of this stupid movie.
For me, what I, said at the beginning is that the Mandarin was kind of my linchpin of all the sections of our show that we do. And for me, we understand that, the Mandarin was this, scary and charismatic and frightening character that we saw, on the screens in the movie, and, committing these terrible acts of violence and, these cryptic messages about, the downfall of America. And then we see who the Mandarin really is, and it's Trevor Slattery, a British out-of-work actor who's also an addict and relies on vices and doesn't really know what's going on. And to me, that was a perfect metaphor for how we can be as believers. We go to church, we go to our Bible studies, even outside of our religious institutions, around our family, our friends, we oftentimes will put on a mask, especially as, believers of being the good Christian. It's like, I'm the good Christian who, reads my Bible and prays and says these very lofty spiritual things and condemns the things that I should and praises the things that I should. And yet at home or at work or, just personally to ourselves, we show our true self, which oftentimes is a lot messier than that mask. Because we're a work in progress, we need to be able to start shedding that mask. The Pharisees were known for showing, putting on that mask. And Jesus says to them in Matthew 23, you're whitewashed tombs. You're beautiful on the outside, but on the inside, you're just full of dead bones. So you're putting on this front of this great faith, this great spirituality, this great connection to your Creator and to God and to your congregation and your people and all that, but inside you're just dead bones. There's no value inside because you're putting on this front, and that's not the way that Jesus is going to be able to use that. That's hypocritical and it's phony. And Jesus often valued transparency. He valued honesty. He valued calling things out for what they were, not saying you're this, horrible person and you don't deserve anything because what you actually are is blank, but kind of bringing to light that this is how it really is. Now let's see what we can do to fix it. And I think that's, the only way that we can grow in our faith, the only way that we can build true relationships is by not being the Mandarin, but by being Trevor. We got to take off the mask that we want to show to the world and the mask that says, this is me, I have it all together, I know what I'm doing. And we need to be vulnerable and transparent and just say, listen, I'm kind of falling apart and I don't know how to get myself out of it. And I need God's help. I need your help. I need my family's help, whatever it is, to pull me out of this hole or to show me how I can get myself out of it. So that, in the way that yours was very personal to you, this felt very personal to me in ways that I used to be and can be in some ways. But yeah, so that's what kind of pulled at me from this.
Good stuff there, man. Let's rate it. I'll go first.
All right.
This is bad. It's campy. It has the shell of everything we like, but it is not good.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I gave it a West. I think the plot is bad. I think the dialogue is bad, but it's Tony. And so in a lot of ways, I give it a pass. In the same way that you watch Batman 66 and you're like, but it's Batman. And so it kind of can't be that terrible ever. It's horrendous. I'm not going to watch it again, but it is what it is.
All right. I mean, I disagree with the spirit of what West is supposed to be, but I can feel that, I guess. I'm not gonna, dance around what my rating is. This is not a good movie. It's a Pattinson. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's not even necessarily the worst of the MCU, but it's not good. It's not good. It's not so bad. It's good. So it's as low as I can get without being the worst thing I've ever seen. It's just not good. Don't love it.
What'd you think, audience? Did you love it? Did you think it was a good movie? Would you be willing to not say that ever again? Because it's a really bad movie. Drop us a comment on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Let us know if you thought it was a good Christmas movie. If you think it's a Christmas movie, because it is. There's jingle bells in it. And it happens at Christmas. Even though, I
also like that version.
The only thing Christmas about it...
I also like that version of Jingle Bells. He's when he's like, drop my needle through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh.
Nah,
that's good.
It's dumb.
That was one of the parts I liked.
Get us out of here.
All right. Well, we hope that you have a merry holiday season and enjoy the cold weather. And as we exit our show, remember, kids, we can tell you're cold because we're connected. Bye. I see you got your Christmas sweater on.
The only one I got.
I got on, I don't know if you can see it. Stand up a little.
The Canucks.
Nope, that is the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yep.
But the important part, I'm going to turn around if you can see the back of it.
Griswold, nice.
Yeah, so that's my, I wasn't sure how many people would get it one.
I got it. It's, that's the one with the reindeer, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Griswold, the red-nosed reindeer. That's the guy.
Christmas has come early.